So if you had to say, and you take that into perspective now, and you think about, say, someone like, and we throw this back to what you're talking about with Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he was back in the day, the way you remembered him, but also you look at now like Chris Bumstead, who's won the classic physiques, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, so 4-year reigning champion. You know, you look at kind of what he's doing now with different brands and the way he's building his own businesses and training business. How do you remember Schwarzenegger back in the day versus the classic physiques of today's age, and which era, you being a bodybuilder, would you have preferred to be in, and why?
Maybe the 70s, 80s, 90s. Probably to mid-2000s when the guts started really happening. So, you know, even back when I was competing in the 90s, 2000s, there were freaks there like Deletnat. He was a freak, but yet he had a small waist. So it can be done, but sadly, when Ronnie started getting big and he started getting a big gut, people like Flex Weird, everyone started chasing Ronnie, their stomachs started getting bigger. And that's when the judges said, if you get big stomachs, you'll be marked down. But they never marked people down. So there you get everyone thinking, shit, the win shows they've got to get that big. So everyone started getting the big stomachs. And then the judges go, oh, this looks terrible. People say it looks terrible. Now we've got to start a class called the Classic. Well, bodybuilding used to be classic when you had like the Delettes or Barry DeMay and everybody. They had lots of mass, but they still had a nice small waist. But the judges just got out of control. Same with the women's bodybuilding. They had women who just kept getting bigger and bigger. The judges like, we don't like it. But yet, if you don't like it, why are you giving them first place? Now all these other women are thinking they're going to get that big. So it just got out of hand. Where if the judges had stuck to what they were meant to be judging, like I said, if you had a big stomach and somebody with a small waist beat you, you were like, fuck, I better bring this down so I can place high. But because they didn't, it's like, well, I got a big gut. I still want to show. Why should I change how I look? So
you can't really go backwards now. So
no.
But if you're in the 212, so if they had that class when you were around, you think about, all right, who other Australians have we got that have been at the pinnacle there? And we've got Josh, who was in the top 10 in Olympia.
We had Sonny Schmidt back in the early days, John Torelli.
But you look at Josh, and he's a lot taller than you, and you know you being a little bit shorter. And I think what was your stage weight? It would have been around.
I competed at 218, but generally I stuck around 209, 210, that range.
So you would have cleaned up. If you were in 212, you would have come out, winning that.
And even told people if I had done that and won it, I probably would have wanted to go to the Open like people like Bonac have done, Derek's done, Sean Clarita's done, because that's why I tell people you don't really need a 212. And people go, well, Lee, where could these guys compete? I'm like, into amateurs. And they could keep training, and as they get bigger, they could win their class and then get their pro card, because it's been proven that these guys who are in the 212 can hang in the Opens if you're good enough.
Do you think
that's the thing?
Categories would be better?
I think height would be good. I like Nabba did height. That would be good. Because at least with height, even if you're 5'5", 5'6", don't put a weight limit on it. So and then I'd like, if you are going to have that, then do what they used to do in the old days with Arnold and Franco, have an overall. I think the crowd would love that type of thing. So, it would have been great seeing Phil Heath and Flex Lewis go out in an overall pose down and stuff. So, yeah, the way it is now, like I said, with so many classes, and then the 212, it's like, if you're good enough, and you go, look at Labrada, he got runner-up in the Olympia a few times in only weighing 180. So it can be done. And people go, what about these guys? Well, I hate to break it to them. Not everyone gets a fucking trophy. You're not good enough to stand up there, so you shouldn't have your pro card. As simple as that. Like I said, we're just bringing it down so they can just get money, give out more pro cards when you're not good enough to be on the pro stage. And those last few pro shows that have been on, you might know one or two names. The rest of them, you see them standing against the backdrop like plants on stage. That they just look like bad amateurs, which is sad. It's like I said, they're not going to bring down any other thing, whether it be sprinting or high jump. I used to do a high jump, a long jump, but when the bar got too high, I'm like, there's no way I'm going over that. So they're not going to say, all right, for you smaller people who can't jump that high, we're only going to put the bar to 3 foot. That's for you people. So, I got a gold medal in the high jump. How high you go? Oh, 3 foot something. Well, the world record's like 11. Does it matter? They've got a class for me, so I don't have to feel like a loser. So And then what gets me is too, you get these people who can do physique sometimes or classic and go, I do this because I don't want to get that big. I don't want to do that to my body. I know more classic guys and physique guys who are taking more drugs in the open.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, as a male, and you're training hard in the gym, if your arm's got the 18 inches, I can't see any male going, oh, it's big enough. I don't want a 20-inch arm. I'm happy with 18. Fuck off. If you can get a 20-inch arm, you keep training to get a 20-inch arm. So, yeah, just the way it's all been, I just say dumbed down. So, like, everyone gets an award now. It's like,
I think people will try to say things to fit their reality. You know, they can't achieve that. So they try and make themselves feel comfortable where they're at. You know, a lot of the guys can't get to that level. So they'll say, right.
That's why I say just stay amateur. Like, you're not good enough to be pro. You're going to get a pro card, then what? You're going to be paying for your airfare, paying for your gear, paying for accommodation. You go to the pro show, you stand on stage like decoration, you get one call out. Thank you very much. It's like, what? You just want the pros so you can put on your Facebook or profile or your Instagram. It's like, you could just be amateurs and do that. And that's the thing too with bodybuilding or any sport. Yes, you might have a good physique, because I get people say, Lee, I want to be Mr. Olympia. I'm like, okay, what have you done? Nothing. Well, maybe start at your local show. Because you might have people who are just good enough to compete in the local show and win it. They might go to the state level next or the nationals and not even place. And then you'll have guys who can win the state, but when they go to the nationals, they might not do well. You have a guy that might win the nationals, get a pro card, but he's never going to be a good pro. So you've got to be realistic with yourself. It's like, yes, you might get a pro card, but are you good enough to be on a pro stage? You might have been the best that day in that amateur show, but when you're talking pros, you go into a whole nother level again. And the top 1% in any sport are ones that are going to shine. So, yeah, there's a lot of people who just need to be realistic with themselves and be like, okay, well, I think it was like the team at Amateur Olympia, like first gets a pro card, then second, third place get the option of taking it. I'm like, well, if you didn't win and you got third or whatever, why would you say I'll have a pro card? Because how about you just come back next year, train harder, win it, earn your pro card, and then go on? But they're just giving out so many now. That's why it's just like crazy. But when I used to go into a gym when I was younger, you're like, fuck, that guy's a pro, and you know their names and who they are. Now I would know half the names, and you look at half of them, you're like, he's a pro? I'm like, oh shit. It's like they dropped the standard a bit, have they? Because, you know, to be a pro is like the elite of the elite, and you knew it by looking at them. But now you haven't got a clue.
It's just all a business now. They got to pay a yearly sub.
Yeah. But I was thinking about that too, because once you do turn pro, yes, you got to pay for your pro card, sure. But then I was thinking, I hear about all these amateur shows now where someone will go in and do this class, and then they do this class. There's like some people are doing 4 classes at a show, and they're paying $100 for every class they go in. They're pretty much buying trophies. So they actually make more money if they just stayed in the amateurs, because generally the guy that promotes the amateur show promotes a pro show generally. So it's just crazy. But I just think they're giving out too much, and it's losing that prestige.
Yeah, it's expensive too. Like, but they just take, the more shots they take, the more chance they have of winning something. You know, and posting on Instagram that.
And then you get those ones too who think they're going to be pro, or they become pro, but they're a shit pro. But in their mind, if I just take more gear, I'll get bigger. 10 years later, they're on kidney dialysis, never won a pro show, still looking shit. It's just like, what have you done? And there's so many people out there. I say, look, you can still go to the gym and train hard, get a good physique if you want, be healthy. But if you're not going to make it at the pro, don't pump all the gear into yourself. Go get another job. But, you know, even if you're a garbage collector, lawyer, doctor, you can still train, have a good physique. Because I see so many people who have given up so many opportunities on doing other stuff because I want to be a pro bodybuilder. It's like, yeah, but you're not going to be. It's like, you know, there's like Dave never got a pro card, but he was a good amateur. Edgar Fletcher, there have been so many guys out there where they've thrown all their eggs into one basket, becoming a pro bodybuilder. Luckily, Dave ventured into other stuff with his company and stuff. But I've seen guys give up so many opportunities, even on friends and family, not even going on holidays because I want to do this. But yet, you know, they're never going to do that. But in their mind, they can do it. And 15 years goes by, they're still abusing the drugs. They still haven't won a show. It's like, what have you done to yourself? So you need to be realistic with what you're doing as well, no matter what it is.